Hello everybody, this is Mike from TCAT's Deep Vinyl Tracks, Ridgetown, Ontario. Just want to come on and do a contest video for the Vinyl Sanctuary. This is for Ron Haggerty's channel called Vinyl Sanctuary. He's doing a no reason contest. There's no reason for this contest, he just wanted to do a contest. So I'll leave the link to his channel that where you can go and take a look at his announcement video. This contest expires April 30th, so you've got plenty of time to get in on it. He'd like you to keep your video under 20 minutes, and you also need to state your name and country like I did at the very first part of this video. Ontario, of course, is in Canada. So he's got 10 questions he'd like you to answer. I like these questions, and I thought it would be fun to kind of jump on here and show some of the albums I have for these questions he would like you to show albums for. So first of all, you have an Aquatic Theme album. Any album centered around anything to do with water, the ocean, etc. So I've got this Fresh Air 6 album from Mannheim Steamroller. This album is all centered around the ocean, mythology about the ocean, things like that. And you can see the embossed cover, really nice shiny green cover, the dolphins on the front. There's the picture on the inside, and there's the back. A lot of people consider Fresh Air as a new age band. Whether they are or not, well, probably are in a way. But their music was very original, and they were one of the first on the American Gramophone label. The Mannheim Steamroller, the regular band, is joined by the London Symphony and the Cambridge Singers on this album. This is probably one of their more complex albums, more kind of a prog feel to it, all instrumental of course, except for where the Cambridge Singers sing. But this one is a very nice album, and it looks good too. Aquatic Theme. Next we have show an album from a country you would like to visit. So that means the band could be from that country, the album itself from the country, the theme could be about the country. The album I picked out is PFM's Jet Lag. PFM is an Italian progressive band, and they've got several albums out. This is one of their albums, I think, released in the 80s, 1977. Okay, here's the inner sleeve. And most of their music, even though they're Italian, most of their music is in English. It's on Asylum Records. This particular album gives you a good sample of what they sound like. Nice progressive band. And if you don't know them, you should check them out. PFM. Next, show an album that where somebody involved in the album shares your surname. That would be Dredge. And this particular album is called The Pariah, The Parrot, and The Delusion. Now, Dredge is a band that started out as extreme metal style with a lot of harsh vocals. By the time that they put this album out, those harsh vocals had disappeared. And what you get here is a very nice progressive sound. And I don't understand why this band isn't more popular than what they are. Some nice pictures there. But the person that's tied into this band is Brett Bair. Last name is spelled B-A-I-R. And he was thanked in the notes on this particular album, but most of Dredge's albums were recorded at Brett Bear Studios. So, Dredge. Number 4, show an album that's transcendent or spiritual to you. I would go with this Canyon by Paul Winter. Paul Winter is an instrumentalist, mostly dealing with world music, and he puts a lot of natural sounds in with his music. He's an alto and soprano sax player. That's his instrument of choice, and that's the featured instrument on Paul Winter albums. But there are also a lot of other interesting instruments, like the first track on here is Grand Canyon Sunrise, and it features a desert drum, which is called a bendir, B-E-N-D-I-R, a North African frame drum with snares played with fingers. And they do give you a distinct sound, which you obviously hear on this. There's a section of that particular song where all you hear are those drums playing, and it has that very nice desert feel to it. It's kind of quiet for a while, then all of a sudden the music builds, and it's just like you're watching the sun come up over the rim of the Grand Canyon. Very nice album. The entire thing is really good, and highly recommend it out of his albums. Next thing, I was going to show you the Paul Winter album. There's the label, Living Music. That's his own label, by the way. An album with a personal story. So that would be Tom Petty's Wildflowers. Mostly for the track Wildflowers, the title track. This one's on a Warner Brother label. It comes out of the Tom Petty Complete Studio Albums Volume 2 box set. The song Wildflowers is one that's personal to me because when I hear it, I think about the cat that I lost about a year ago. It was in April, first part of April. That's his picture. Beautiful cat. One of the best cats ever, in my opinion. I really miss him a lot. I still do, even after a year. But the song Wildflowers, I think of him as being, he was born to be among the wildflowers. And I think about him every time that song plays. I think of him now as being happy, being able to play without any fears or any worries. Among the wildflowers, with the squirrels chasing them around. Anyway, that's a very personal story for me. Number 6, show an album that has to do with food, the album or a song, for example. My album comes from my Warner Reprise Lost Leaders collection. This one is called Menu, Hot Platters. And I did a video on the Warner Brothers Reprise albums. They always come with some kind of a booklet inside or separate from it that talk about the artists and about the songs. And this one features Deep Purple, John Baldry, LaBelle, Red Eye, T-Rex, Randy Newman, Jackie Lomax, on and on and on, quite a few. Gordon Lightfoot, the Beach Boys, Bride Cooter, Big Mama Thornton, Mother Earth. So good collection there. There's the back of it. Lists the songs, kind of set up like a menu in a restaurant. Number 7, show an album that has to do with the weather. That would be Joni Mitchell's Chalk Mark in a Rainstorm. Very nice album. This is one album that came from the 80s, so it kind of has a little bit of an 80s vibe to it with the synthesizers, but it's still definitely Joni Mitchell. Some really great songs on this one. One that kind of gets overlooked in her discography, but very nice album. Number 8, show an album that has a sexy, racy, or suggestive theme to it, either on the covers or about the album itself. I picked out a box set, actually. It's Kate Bush's Remastered in Vinyl Part 4, her Rarities collection. And I love the pictures on this. Okay, and there's 4 records on this, in this particular box set. And each one of them has a really nice, suggestive, sort of, but more sexy style pictures on them. This one is called In Others' Words. These are like all of her covers. She covers Rocket Man, Lord of the Reedy River, Candle in the Wind, Sexual Healing, The Man I Love. Really great, great album. And then you have the other side, parts 1 and 2. These are like B-sides and different, more rare songs. Experiment 4, Burning Bridge, the 2012 remix of Running Up the Hill, Walk Straight Down the Middle, Warm and Soothing, Rantan Waltz, December Will Be Magic Again, and a remix of Wuthering Heights. And last of all is this one. As you can see, very nice covers. These are 12-inch mixes. See another version of Running Up That Hill, the Big Sky Meteorological Mix, Cloud Bursting or Organon Mix, the Hounds of Love Alternative Mix, and Experiment 4, the Extended Mix. So, and these are all on the Fish People label. Nice box set, especially if you're a Kate Bush fan, which I totally am. She's my favorite female singer. Number 9, suggest an album that you don't think Ron Haggerty owns. I'd be surprised if anybody owns this one, honestly. This is an album by one of Steven Wilson's side projects called Bass Communion. And this is the Bass Communion's first album. There are actually several albums and EPs that Bass Communion has, Steven Wilson has under that particular name. This is a double album. Most of the tracks on here are side-long tracks, but it has an additional track that wasn't on the original called No News is Good News, about an 8-minute track. There's the inner sleeve. This is what the original album cover looked like. The one I have is a reissue because it has that extra track on it. Bass Communion, how do you explain their music? It's his music, actually, because it's all Steven Wilson. It'd be pretty difficult. What he usually does is take different sound sources and manipulates them. They can be instruments like a saxophone, and he manipulates the sound to give it a whole new style, a whole new feel. And you could describe his music more along the lines of musical paintings. But something very unique you probably won't hear a lot of anywhere else. He uses a lot of drones. He uses a lot of, like I said, manipulation. On some of his albums, he even takes field recordings, recordings of like hitting metal statues. He even did a recording of what's supposed to be ghostly sounds, and it's really kind of cool music. I really like it, but I don't see or hear of many other people that have any of that music. So, Bass Communion. If you're into real electronic strangeness, experimentalism, this is the band you should look for. The last thing, number 10, is to make anything up. So make up anything you want to. So for my last one, I'm going to show one of my most favorite and interesting covers, and that would be from the band Rush, Presto. This is one of their albums they did in the late 80s. And for some reason I can never understand. It's not a very well liked album, especially among the fans. Myself, I just love it. I love this album. I think there's some great songs on it. It's probably my favorite out of all the 1980s output they did, and this one just happens to be 1989. Of course, it never was originally released on a vinyl, but so this is a reissue, and a very well done reissue too. The sound is just great on it. There's the back of it. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of their 80s output. I like it, but I'd rather listen to their 70s output. But out of all their 80s albums, this would be my favorite. Okay, that's it. Go over and subscribe to Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary channel and watch his video to find out what you need to do to get involved in this contest. All right, thank you very much.